Hello and welcome back to another video. I am Angst, but you can call me Katie. As you may have noticed by the title of this video, we are talking about Cal-Exit, California's attempt to begin secession from the Union. Just as a quick side note, some of you may know I was born in California, Northern California to be exact, and fortunately I escaped roughly 10 years ago from their slowly growing nonsense and insanity. But enough about me, on to the video. It's only fair that I start things off by educating you guys on the movement. The Yes California Independence Campaign, as it's formally called, hopes for a statewide vote as early as 2018. The group's vice president and founder, Marcus Ruiz Evans, said Republican Donald Trump winning the presidential election had boosted support for the initiative, though the group had been around for over 2 years. While they don't have any major financial backers, Evans did say 13,000 people have volunteered to collect signatures required to pass the measure on the ballot in spring. This would mean 600,000 signatures. From a partial quote on the group's website, "In our view, the United States of America represents so many things that conflict with Californian values." Also from the group's website, "We believe in two fundamental truths. One, California exerts a positive influence over the rest of the world, and two, California could do more as an independent country than it is able to do as just a U.S. state." The movement currently has 18,752 signatures at the time of this recording. Here are some interesting side notes for you all. The leader of the Yes California Independence Campaign, Marcus Ruiz Evans, was, contrary to popular assumptions, a registered Republican when he formed the separatist group 2 years ago, according to the San Jose Mercury News. He briefly hosted a conservative talk radio show in Fresno and would not tell the newspaper whether or not he voted for Trump. When Evans announced that this organization would start a petition for a Cal-Exit vote, he stated, "Californians are better educated, wealthier, more liberal, and value healthcare and education more than the rest of the country." He also added, "Our views on education, science, and immigration, as well as taxation and healthcare, are different." Interestingly enough, California in education for 2016 has been ranked overall as 40th in the nation. California also has a position among the lowest 5 states in reading test scores. It is also the worst in pupil-to-teacher ratio. To sum things up well, California has high spending rates and a weak school system. Regardless of values, they are failing their youngest citizens. In Texas versus White, the United States Supreme Court ruled unilateral secession unconstitutional, while commenting that revolution or consent of the states could lead to successful secession. The most serious attempt at secession was advanced in the years 1860 and 1861, as 11 of the southern states each declared secession from the United States. They joined together to form the Confederate States of America. This movement unfortunately collapsed very soon after in 1865 with the defeat of Confederate forces by Union armies in the Civil War. California itself has been subject to more than 220 partition proposals since its admission to the United States in 1850. Including at least 27 significant proposals in its first 150 years of statehood. For those of you who don't know what partitioning is, a partition is a change of political borders cutting through at least one territory considered a homeland by some community. In this case, it means hacking one state into 2 or more pieces. This, like secession, is an incredibly difficult challenge. As written in the Constitution, new states may be admitted by the Congress into this union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of 2 or more states or parts of other states, without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned as well as the Congress. In basic English, You can't form a state composed of other states, or form a state with parts of other states, nor can you break one up into multiple states unless you involve all states and Congress, allowing them to agree on the matter. I bring this up as a proposed solution or alternative route because most of Northern California does not wish to leave the Union, and unfortunately they don't have LA's voter population to maintain one foot in the door for statehood. It would be simpler to allow a petition making Northern and Southern California two separate entities under the Union. We claim to be an indivisible force, an entity that is made whole with all 50 parts, and that even a god cannot part us. Not only is there no constitutional right to seceding, California would need to have an amendment approved by 2/3 of Congress and 38 states to secede legally. Any other route disregarding congressional approval would be effectively committing treason and igniting the fuse to begin a war. There would be an imminent economic collapse on California's part, as they rely on technology and entertainment, many of which have national contracts. They claim on the Yes California Independence Campaign website to have the 6th largest economy in the world, but when you factor in international GDP, which is a great indicator for a country's economy, California is listed as 11th, preceded by China, the United States, India, Japan, Germany, Russia, Brazil, Indonesia, the United Kingdom, and France. France, of which on their website they boast as being more economically powerful than. In California, housing costs more, electricity and gas cost more, and even most goods and services cost more than the national average. In many respects, California's cost of living is much more like a Western European nation than it is like the rest of the United States. In addition to cash flow, they're strapped for water, bringing me to our next point. California's water crisis and the Colorado River Compact, often referred to as the Lake Mead Project. The agreement was approved by Congress in 1922, the same year it was signed. The Colorado River Compact was signed by the delegates from the 7 Colorado River Basin states. Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, and New Mexico were designated Upper Basin states, while California, Arizona, and Nevada were designated as Lower Basin states. My emphasis on this is primarily the share between Nevada, Arizona, and California. These states use and are allocated a large portion. However, California conveniently has no restriction when Arizona and Nevada do, meaning despite the non-stop drought and consistently dropping levels of the lake, California is business as usual with their water usage. California is listed in this agreement as a state. Hopefully you're seeing the conflict here. Contractually speaking, California would be voiding their share as the state of California and the newfound nation of California are not the same entity. California, you would be up shit creek without a paddle or water. And you can bet Arizona would love to cut you off from your excessive water use or just charge you. Let's talk aftermath. If a secession were effective, California would be a liability to the United States of America. They would be open to any and all attacks or takeovers. Due to being a liability, this newfound nation could potentially turn into a police state aided by the United States of America military in maintaining their safety. This is assuming that California didn't commit secession illegally, creating a war in which the United States military would already be there, but not to help them out. After heavily relying on companies with United States of America agreements, these companies would be forced to create new agreements costing this newfound nation, or they would simply relocate to places such as Las Vegas or Phoenix. California is clearly already strapped for cash, as we've noted to be a constant for them. But wait, they still have entertainment and technology. Except most of the entertainment industry has already driven itself out of California by their costs and regulations, which is why we see TV show credits stating they were filmed in Vancouver, Arizona, Georgia, New Mexico, somewhere other than Hollywood. They've even lost porn in the past few years, so no relying on that one either. But hey, at least you still have tech companies and Twitter with their use of censorship driving people away. Oh, did I ruin that one too? Perhaps you can still partially offset your phenomenal trade deficit with exports of karma and synergy. Don't forget about finding a solution for those 40 million California citizens who are going to be expecting their Social Security, Medicare, and government federal pensions. The only way for sure to keep those up is more taxes. America won't be around to help you with that one. What about generating power? You aren't as awesome as Texas with your own grid. The USA will be happy to oblige, since your climate change scam laws will essentially require you to outsource your greenhouse gas emissions, and the USA would be delighted to let you pay for that privilege. And then there's fossil fuels. We know you want to go green because of your bizarre weather panic religion, but that's a lot of infrastructure to build, and as we've seen, you're going to be broke for a while. So now you're stuck with the dino juice, and you've pretty much banned fracking and limited oil production. You'll have to import oil, a lot of oil, 40 million citizens worth of oil. The good news is the USA will have plenty to sell to you. In fact, the USA will have plenty of everything to sell to you since you've driven manufacturing out of California with your regulations and taxes. Well, let's talk about food. Where's your food gonna come from? I mean, the Central Valley is remarkably fertile. All sorts of stuff will grow there, except it doesn't anymore because you haven't been stockpiling water. So you'll be importing food, too. What about general spending and debts? Don't think for a second you can escape your minimum 10% share of the $20 trillion debt. Consider an invoice for your $2 trillion on your desk before you finish packing up and getting out. But don't forget, it's the good old US of A who will be feeding, fueling, and defending you, so watch your little liberal mouths carefully. Gee, if I were California, I'd be rethinking my secession by now. But that's going to be it for this video. Like, comment, and share as you please, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye!